I'm Quentin Alsop. I'm a beekeeper. I keep bees here in the Botanic Gardens in Bristol, keep them in town and on a community farm. I keep a variety of species. Some are local dark bees and some are more gregarious Italian bees. A day in the life of a beekeeper. You get up early and you look out the window to see if the sun's shining. And if it's shining, you can go and see your bees. So the first thing you do is just check how busy they are. And if they're out flying, that's good. That's good because they're not around to bother you. So you only ever go to a hive for a reason, unless you actually want to sit down and relax and read your newspaper. But most of the time you're going there for a reason, and that's to check whether they're healthy, whether they need anything from you, or whether it's okay just to let them carry on their own. You also go there because you want to see if they're about to swarm. So your busiest time of year is around April to June. Because if you let your bees swarm, A, they'll go into someone's chimney and cause a nuisance, and B, you'll lose all your workforce that would go and get lots of lovely honey for you. The day in the life of the bee, it depends how old you are. When a bee is born, the first thing it does is go and clean its room. Now, I wish my kids had done that. Then as it gets older, it goes and helps to feed the young bees. When it gets a little bit older, it becomes a guard bee, and then it becomes a forager. So it's only the older bees that go out and collect nectar and pollen and water and bring them back. In the hive there are queen bee, just the one queen bee. The rest of them are worker bees, except for a few male bees. All the work is done by women. It's only female bees, the workers, that have stings. So if you hear a loud buzzing noise, that's probably a male, and you can pick them up in your hand quite easily without causing a problem. Actually, you can pick up the worker bees as well if you're careful, because they don't want to sting you, but they don't know how to say let go. So that's the only time they'll cause you a problem, if you're about to squash them and you don't understand let go in bee language. So a bee will come out of its hive and it will seek out flowers. The flowers produce a sweet nectar, so the bees suck it up, they carry it back in their honey sacs, bring it back, and they hand it over to someone at the entrance, who then passes it to someone else, and then they put it in little cells in the nest for food for later in the winter. They also brush up against the yellow pollen on a flower, and as they go around to different flowers, they leave some of that pollen behind. And on an apple tree, that'll then produce lovely apples. On a pear tree and raspberry tree. In fact, every strawberry, if you see the little white dots on a strawberry, each one of those is a little thing that's been pollinated by a bee. So if you see one slightly misshapen, probably not enough bees have been around there. Bees want to keep their hive at a constant temperature, around about 34 degrees, 36 degrees, about your body temperature. So in the heat of summer, they'll want to cool it down. One of the things they do is they sit at the entrance, they fan to get air wafting through the hive. And one of the effects is to evaporate off all the excess water, so the nectar they collect then gets really concentrated and becomes really lovely honey. In the deepest winter, they'll need to keep the young ones warm, so they all snuggle up and they have to vibrate their wing muscles to generate heat. So it's a bit like having a hot water bottle in your duvet. So this is the roof. So this tool is very important. You see, bees don't just collect nectar, they collect tree sap. And it's called propolis for the gate. And it's this red stuff here, and it sticks everything down. So if they have a draft, they'll block up the drafts, just like at home. And this is a frame where we've cut out the comb, so you can see how pure white that wax is. Now the bees get the wax from little glands on their stomachs, on their thorax really. There the bees. Oh, there's one. You see, she'll land on us if we give her a chance. There's another one. Come on, darlings. So these bees are just cleaning out the comb, just the last bits of nectar, and they'll take it down and add it to their other stores. So this is a smoker. We use it to disguise our smell. Inside a beehive, it's dark, so the bees communicate by smell and vibration. So if they're busy and we have to disturb them, we kind of want to make them, we don't want any alarm pheromones, any alarm smells being distributed and getting them too excited. So we put a little bit of smoke in the entrance and on the top, just to disguise our smell. So I've got some sting stories. I didn't get stung for first 18 months when I was keeping bees, and then I got a bit casual and I accidentally almost squashed a bee, and I didn't understand to let go. So the bee stung me and my thumb became like a sausage. Next day my hand was like an oven glove, and I thought I was going to turn into an alien. But after a few days it settled down. So the next time I got stung, this is a little bit rude, so turn away, was when we went to collect a swarm. It was in the evening and I was just wearing a hood, and it was beautiful. The bees were down on the floor and I was bending over like this, a bit too much like a builder. So the only space that the bees had to go was just up my jumper. So after a while I began to wriggle and squiggle, and then I started dancing around this lady's garden, tearing my clothes off me, and I got a few stings there. If a bee lands on you, the two things you don't do is, one is go like this, because that is like a wasp attacking their nest, so they kind of get a bit nervous and they might sting you. And they don't want to sting you, because if they do sting you, they die, which is really sad. So if a bee lands on you, just look at it and give it, either talk to it and tell it a story, and then it'll fly off and go and tell the other bees. Or if it's a cold day, you can actually put your finger by it and it'll crawl up on your finger to warm up. And then you can just throw it away and away it will go. The main thing about being a beekeeper is every time you go to the bees, you have to tell them a story. You have to tell them what you've been doing that day, what you've been doing that week, and any troubles you have, and then it all flies away. And it keeps the bees at home because they're interested in what's going to happen next. My favourite thing to do with honey is to put it on organic yogurt and maybe put a few blueberries on the top. That is just the best thing in summer.